Alrighty, hi everyone, my name is Vienna Protomastro. I am going to be doing a presentation today on the anatomy and physiology of the human retina. Alrighty, so what exactly is the retina? So the retina transforms incoming light into electrical signals, which the optic nerve transmits to the brain. This process forms the visual images you perceive, making the retina an essential component of our vision. And this conversion of light into an electrochemical signal is commonly known as phototransduction, and we'll talk a little bit more about this process. Alright, so vision. First, light enters the eye and is focused by the lens onto the retina. Cells in the retina convert light into electrical signals, that phototransduction we were mentioning before. Nerves carry these signals to the brain, which interpret them as images. And so, again, when light reaches the back of the eye, it enters the cellular layers of the retina. The cells of the retina then detect and respond to light. These are known as photoreceptors, and they are located at the very back of the eye, or the retina. There are two types of photoreceptors, rods and cones. Rods allow us to see in dim light, but don't allow for the perception of color. Cones, on the other hand, allow us to perceive colors under normal light conditions. And we'll go into a little bit more detail about the differences and similarities about rods and cones in a little bit. Alright, so where exactly is the retina located? The retina is located at the very back of your eye. It is opposite the lens and the pupil. The lens focuses light that enters your eye to hit your retina and its photoreceptor cells. And then there are two main layers of the retina. There are the pigmented layer and the neural layer. The pigmented layer supports and protects photoreceptors and absorbs excess light. And then the neural layer contains the rods and the cones, again our photoreceptors, our bipolar cells, our ganglion cells, and we won't go into too much detail, but the neural layer does contain the amacrine and the horizontal cells as well. So if we look at the image on the right, the yellow and purple cells on the left, those are on the right, those are our rods and our cones, and then in the middle, those pink cells, those are our bipolar cells, and on the left, those blue cells, those are our ganglion cells. So the rods and the cones, they absorb the light. This is where that phototransduction happens, where it converts it into an electrical signal. It then passes that signal onto the bipolar cells, which connect those photoreceptors and pass that signal from the photoreceptors to the ganglion cells. The ganglion cells generate an action potential because the ganglion cells have very long axons that travel along the retina and then travel out the optic nerve and carry that signal to the brain. And as you can see on the left, those blue ganglion cells, they have those long axons attached to them that travel out the optic nerve and into the brain, where those signals are translated into images that we see. Alright, so those two photoreceptors that we've been talking about a lot here are our rods and our cones, and they are named for their shape. So rods allow us to see grayscale. They have high sensitivity, meaning they work in low light. They are concentrated in the periphery, and there are about 130 million rods per retina. A lot. And then our cones, on the other hand, our cones, they provide color vision. They have low sensitivity, meaning that they require bright light in order to sense anything. They are also concentrated in the center of the eye, and there are about 6.5 million cones per each retina. As you can tell, there are many more rods than cones in the human eye. Alright, and then to go into a little bit more detail about the structures of the retina, so the macula lutea. The macula lutea is part of the retina that is responsible for sharp, detailed central vision, also known as visual acuity. The macula lutea, also called the fovea, contains a very high concentration of cones, and these cones are the light-sensitive cells in the retina that give detailed central vision. So we're able to see things in a lot of detail. And then looking at that optic disc, this is where the optic nerve and blood vessels enter the eye. The optic disc consists mainly of ganglion cell axons without any blood vessels or photoreceptors, so no rods or cones in that optic disc. This physiological anatomic structure generates a visual scotoma, known as a blind spot, and a lot of rare diseases may actually cause the enlargement of this blind spot. Alright, and then a fun little study aid. I thought this would be fun to fill in the steps about how vision and our eyes work, just to simplify things a little bit in case we're studying for our upcoming exam or using it for an assignment. So take the time now, if you'd like, to pause the video and try to fill in the blanks by yourself, because we're going to go over the answer now. Alright, so the answer, again, when that light enters the back of the eye, it hits the retina, and then the cells of the retina that detect and respond to this light are known as the photoreceptors, the rods and the cones. They transmit this light into a chemical signal. The chemical signal goes to the bipolar cells, then to the ganglion cells, through the optic nerve and into the brain, where these chemical signals are translated into these photo images that we're able to see with the human eye. Alrighty, and that is the end of my presentation. Thank you all so much for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.